voice on my car radio is calm, official, and meant for someone else. If you are hearing this, Daniel Mercer, you are already in the tunnel. Do not stop. Do not look for the doors. When a minute disappears, do not fill it with your own voice. My hands tighten on the wheel so hard my knuckles sting. I glance at the console as if I can catch the radio line. The display reads 1241. The station tag flickers between letters that do not settle into anything familiar. My full name, on the air, in a message that lands like it has been waiting in the dark for me to show up. I am alone in the car. I am on the night shift route back from a client visit that ran long, the kind of overtime that makes the city feel like it belongs to maintenance crews and people with no one waiting up. The tunnel entrance opens ahead, a wide mouth of concrete under sodium lights. I have driven this tunnel enough times that my body expects the pressure change, the slight drop in temperature, the way the sound of tires becomes a hollow drum. I tell myself it is a prank, a weird emergency broadcast, someone with access to a transmitter playing games with names pulled from public records. Then the radio cuts to silence. Not static, not the usual hiss when a signal fades. It is as if the sound gets erased, like the speakers have been unplugged from reality. The display still shows 1241. The second hand on the small clock in my dash keeps moving, but the radio time indicator freezes. I tap the volume knob. I switch stations. The silence stays thick and deliberate. I enter the tunnel. The yellow lights repeat overhead in a steady rhythm that always feels like a test of patience. My headlights catch wet patches on the walls. Farther ahead, another car rides the right lane, taillights dimmed by grime. I feel better seeing it, a small proof that this is still a shared world. At 1242 on my dash clock, the radio snaps back. A song is playing, mid-chorus, like it never stopped. I know the song, some late 90s track that stations keep around for people driving after midnight. The singer is in the middle of a word, breath already spent, and I cannot shake the sense that I have stepped into a stream that kept flowing while I was briefly removed. I wait for the station announcer. I wait for an explanation. Nothing, just music. Then a commercial for a hardware store that closed years ago. At 1243, the radio goes silent again. My stomach drops. I look at the radio display. It still reads 1241. The dash clock reads 1243. I press the power button on the radio. No response. I press again. Nothing. At 1244, sound returns mid-syllable, mid-breath, mid-life. The commercial continues as if no interruption occurred. Exact 1 minute chunks. 1 minute of my drive goes missing from the radio. Not a normal dropout. A clean excision. I try to rationalize. I tell myself the station is using a time delay buffer and it is glitching, losing a minute of broadcast. But the cuts are too perfect. The returns are too surgical. And that message with my name sits behind my eyes like a bruise. I keep driving. The other car ahead maintains speed. The tunnel curves slightly, a long bend that blocks the view of the exit until the last stretch. At 1245, silence. I feel it now before it happens, a faint pressure in my ears like descending in an elevator. It is not just the radio. The whole cabin seems to hold its breath. I hear my own engine. I hear tires. I hear myself swallow. I do not speak. The warning was clear, and I hate how quickly I obey it. At 1246, the radio returns. The song is gone. There is a soft tone, like a test signal, and then a voice. Not an announcer, not a DJ. Something recorded in a room with no echo. Daniel Mercer. Listen carefully. I nearly swerve. My hand's correct, but my heart is pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. The voice continues, slow and clipped. The minutes are being taken. They are being used. Do not give them more. My mouth goes dry. I taste stale coffee. The voice says, you have your badge. Keep it visible. The doors will see it. I look down at my lanyard without meaning to. It is not on me. I do not wear a badge for my job. I work in field service. I have an ID card in my wallet, a laminated thing I show at client sites. But it is not a security badge. I check the passenger seat. There is a badge there. It lies flat on the fabric like it has always belonged. White plastic with a magnetic strip, my name printed in black, and a photo of me that I do not remember taking. Under my name is a logo I do not recognize, a simple geometric mark that makes my eyes slide off it. The badge is clipped to a retractable reel with a short black cord. I pick it up with 2 fingers like it might be contaminated. The plastic is warm. My photo is wrong in a subtle way. The lighting is off. My expression is too neutral, as if whoever took it told me not to show emotion. In the corner is an access level printed in small letters. Authorized transit. At 1247, silence again. In that minute, I cannot stop staring at the badge. I try to remember putting it there. I try to remember anything that explains how an object with my face on it is sitting in my car. My fingers tremble. The real cord tugs back as if impatient. At 1248, sound returns, but not speech, not music. It is a pattern, a sequence of tones, not quite beeps, not quite static. It rises and falls in a way that makes my skin tighten. It is rhythmic without being musical, structured without being comforting. It has the deliberate feel of something counting. I turn the volume down. The pattern does not get quieter. It stays the same loudness, as if it is not coming from the speakers, but from the air itself. I cover one ear with my hand. The pattern is still there. I look at the other car ahead. Its taillights pulse faintly, in time with the tones. The tunnel lights overhead begin to feel less like steady repetition and more like a code. Bright, dim, dim. bright. My mind wants to turn it into meaning. My mind hates not having meaning. At 12:49, silence. The pattern stops. The tunnel returns to ordinary sound. My breath comes out in a shaky rush. At 12:50, the pattern returns, but it has changed. It is more complex, layered, as if two sequences are running at once, slightly out of sync. It feels like someone trying different keys in a lock. My phone buzzes in the cup holder. I snatch it up. No signal. I open the voice recorder anyway, thumb hovering over the button. If this is real, if this is something I can show someone, I need proof. The moment I hit record, the pattern sharpens. It becomes almost painful, like pressure on my teeth. The tunnel walls seem to lean closer. The other car ahead drifts slightly left, then corrects. The recorder timer starts counting. 1 second. At 7 seconds, the pattern shifts into something that makes my scalp prickle. It sounds like breathing. Not human breathing exactly. The cadence is wrong. Too even. Too controlled. Like a machine imitating lungs. At 12:51, silence. My recording continues, capturing only the normal hum of my engine. The painful sound is gone like it never existed. At 12:52, sound returns, and the radio voice comes back, speaking over the faint edge of the pattern. Stop recording. It says it like a command given to someone who has already been trained to obey. I stare at the phone. My thumb hesitates. The voice says the message will use whatever you give it. Your voice is a door. My throat tightens. I stop the recording. The moment I do, the pressure eases. At 12:53, silence. I drive through the quiet minute with my eyes locked on the lane lines. The tunnel feels longer than it should. The curve seems to repeat, like I am circling inside a loop. At 12:54, the pattern returns, softer now, almost subtle. It hides beneath a low rumble, like it is learning to camouflage itself. I try not to listen. That is impossible. The mind listens even when the ears refuse. A thought arrives that does not feel like mine. It is easier if you cooperate. I blink hard. My hands sweat on the wheel. The other car ahead slows. Its brake lights flare. It drifts toward the right wall, toward a section of tunnel that looks like any other, stained concrete with grime streaks. But as it slows, I see something I have never seen in this tunnel. As a rectangular outline in the wall, barely visible until the car ahead aligns with it. A door flush with the concrete. No handle, no sign, no light above it. Only a small black panel beside it, the kind that would take a badge swipe. The car ahead stops. I should keep going. I should not stop in a tunnel. I should not do anything that makes me a stationary target. But the pattern in the air shifts, and for a moment it resembles words hidden in sound. Daniel Mercer. My name is not spoken. It is assembled from the tones, from the rhythm of the tunnel lights, from the pulse of my own heartbeat. My brain recognizes it like a face in a crowd. The stopped car's driver door opens. A person steps out. I cannot see their face clearly in the tunnel's dirty light. They move like they are exhausted, shoulders rounded, head down. They walk to the door in the wall with the certainty of someone who has done it before. They lift a badge on a lanyard. The panel beside the door blinks green. The door opens inward, revealing a strip of darkness so complete it makes the tunnel look bright. The person does not hesitate. They step into that darkness and vanish. The door closes with a soft seal, like the lid of a freezer. The car they left behind remains, engine running, brake lights glowing. At 12:55, silence. In that silent minute, I realize my exit from the tunnel should be visible by now. It is not. The curve continues. The same repeating lights. The same dance streaks. It feels like the tunnel is longer by miles than it was yesterday. At 12:56, sound returns. The radio voice speaks again. That was not meant for you. My eyes flick to the abandoned car. I am passing it now. The driver's seat is empty. The steering wheel is slightly turned, like the car was not parked carefully. The voice says, "You are early." I swallow, and the sound in the air seems to swallow with me. The voice continues. The minutes are compensating. They are letting. When the pattern stabilizes, it can speak through anything that vibrates. I think of my phone, my teeth, my vocal cords. The voice says, "Do not answer questions you did not ask." At 12:57, silence. I pass the section of wall where the hidden door was. Now that I know it is there, I can see the scene more clearly. The badge on my passenger seat catches the tunnel light and flashes a small glare into my eyes. At 12:58, sound returns and the pattern comes back with it, stronger, more confident. It is not just tones now. It is almost language, the way a voice can be understood through a wall if you catch the cadence. A phrase starts to form in my mind, assembled from sound and expectation. "Let us in." My jaw clenches. I keep my lips shut. The tunnel lights overhead flicker in a way that makes the shadows between them look deeper. For the first time, I notice there are service alcoves along the wall, recess areas for emergency phones and equipment. Most of them are empty. Some have metal cabinets. One alcove has something different. A door like the other one, flush and hidden with a black panel beside it. Then another, and another. They are spaced evenly, as if the tunnel has always been lined with them and my mind simply refused to see. At 12:59, silence. In that minute, I feel the absence of radio sound as a presence. I can almost sense something moving in the missing time, using it like a hallway. At 1:00, sound returns and the radio voice is gone. Now there is only the pattern. It comes in waves and each wave pushes at my thoughts. I grip the wheel and focus on simple facts. My name is Daniel Mercer. I am driving. I am awake. I am not in a dream. The pattern shifts again and begins to mimic speech more closely. The first clear word it produces is my name, built from the tunnel's acoustics. Daniel. I feel it in my chest, in the vibration of the steering column. Daniel. The doors in the wall begin to light up, not with lamps, but with the panels by them blinking awake, one by one, green dots appearing in the dark like eyes opening. My badge reel tugs toward the nearest door as if pulled by magnetism. I snatch it up and hold it tight. The pattern swells. Swap. The word is not spoken. It is implied by the rhythm, by the way the tone rises at the end like a question that expects compliance. At 101, silence. My dash clock ticks forward. The tunnel does not change. The silence feels like the breath before a scream. At 102, sound returns, and the pattern is accompanied by something else. A faint knocking, not on my window, not on the tunnel wall, from inside the radio itself. A small, controlled tapping, like fingernails against plastic, perfectly timed with the tones. Not to knock. Oh, knock. The pattern resolves into a sentence that I understand without hearing any human voice. Daniel Mercer, authorized transit. Please present your badge. My pulse stutters. The badge in my hand is slick with sweat. The tunnel ahead finally straightens, and I expect to see the exit. Instead, I see a wider section, an area where the ceiling rises and the lights are brighter, like a checkpoint. There is a gate across the lanes, not a solid barrier, but a row of upright posts with sensors. Beside it is a small booth. I have never seen a booth in this tunnel. The booth window is dark, but I sense someone inside, the way you sense a person in a room before you see them. The radio tapping becomes faster. The pattern presses harder against my thoughts, trying to shape them into speech. I feel my tongue twitch as if someone is testing the strings. My car rolls toward the gate. I slow instinctively, foot easing off the gas. My headlights sweep across the booth. On the glass, written from the inside in pale grease pencil, are 3 words. Do not speak. My throat tightens in relief and terror at once. Someone else has been here. Someone else tried to warn whoever came next. The gate posts emit a soft chime that matches the radio pattern. My badge reel jerks toward the window, toward the booth, as if something that recognizes it. At 103, silence. In the quiet minute, the booth window slides open on its own with a soft mechanical whisper. A hand extends from the darkness inside. It is gloved in black. The hand holds out a small microphone, the kind used at drive-through windows, its foam head angled toward my mouth. My car creeps forward, almost idling, as if the tunnel itself is pulling me. At 104, sound returns. The pattern becomes so clear it feels like a voice right behind my teeth. State your destination. The microphone waits inches from my face. The glove does not move. I keep my lips sealed. I shake my head once, small and frantic, toward the booth, toward whoever is inside. The glove tightens around the microphone. The radio clicks, and the calm official voice returns one last time, quieter, intimate, as if leaning close. Daniel Mercer, if you do not speak, the tunnel will choose for you. The pattern swells into a rising tone that makes my vision blur at the edges. My badge, warm in my hand, pulses as if it has a heartbeat. The glove twitches, inviting, and in the missing space between seconds, I feel my own mouth beginning to open on its own.